Browns, Jaguars, big game with everything that's been going on with the AFC playoff race. Browns win this game. You can see, and their percentages go way up in how they make the playoffs. If they can somehow just get this game. This is a team that for some reason has always had the Browns number. It drives me insane. They're 6-12 all time against Jacksonville. They have a lot of good momentum in this game today. Tony Camino joining. The Browns, by the way, have not been quiet this weekend. They just signed Grant Delpit to a new contract. They said goodbye to P.J. Walker. They waived him. They moved. They also got Cam Mitchell back, which is a great thing. Sounds like Cooper's playing. He's out of concussion protocol. A lot of moving parts, even in the last 24 hours. So, again, sounds like Cooper's playing. No word on Denzel Ward. Cam Mitchell back. Huge for the cornerback situation. And Grant Delpit will be here for a long time. Usually when guys get a contract, they usually play very well. There you go, Tony.
Exciting morning. Yeah, really exciting stuff.
A lot going on.
Yeah, moving parts like crazy. A lot to keep up with, but that's what we're here for.
That's right. I like this momentum. I like when things like this happen, actually. I am a believer in this. I like this energy that they're trying to sign players. I like the energy, too, that they're making moves up. The C out of concussion protocol, obviously, is huge for Cooper. Let's just start there. Huge story. Didn't think he's going to – there was no chance he was going to play on Thursday. So he's going to play today. That's great.
Yeah, it's really impressive. He seems like he's dealing with rib injuries and – whole bunch of different injuries he's been dealing with, but he always finds a way to suit up, and we're going to need him. A lot of Jaguars DBs out today, so Hopefully he can find a way to still be effective, but I think he's probably not 100% with everything he's dealing with, but I guess we'll just have to see game time.
Well, that's a big story, too, line that maybe we're not talking enough about. The Jaguars have been decimating the cornerback position. There's 3 out today. They are a very average pass defense at best anyways. The bigger news story, though, sadly for the Browns on the other end, no DeJuan Jones today. Mm-hmm. So you're going to have your 4th and 5th string tackles. Jeez Louise. Gerard Christian, who's still playing for Jed Wills, and back to our guy, and his name's
James Hudson, yeah.
That's concerning, Tony.
It definitely is, yeah. I mean, the last time we saw both of those two start for the entirety of the game, we saw the DTR game plan where ball was getting out in an instant. Or we had Deshaun against the Ravens where he was making decisions in a split second too. So the ball's going to have to get out pretty quickly today. The good news is that Jacksonville's pass rush is nowhere near Pittsburgh's or Baltimore's.
Exactly. Our pass rush will be badly needed today. I agree. They've been called out by their coach, Jim Schwartz, who didn't. They only got 1 sack from JOK in that road trip. That's it. Not good enough. No. So Darius Smith has been called out a little bit, and he called out on himself. Let's start there. Darius Smith's been okay, but Tony, he's underperformed. We're expecting more out of him this year.
I would say he's underperformed on this West Coast trip, but other than that, I've been fine with how he's been. I think recently it's been down, but it's been down for everybody. I think that's just – and the quarterbacks of these last couple of weeks, the game plan for the Rams specifically was to get the ball out quick, so that – hurt the ability to get at the quarterback. But, yeah, you'd like to see Za'Darius get back to how he was playing to those first couple of weeks and really get this D-line back to that elite level they were playing at.
Jay Dizzle, Kirk being out really hurts the Jags. Browns play everyone. Agreed. There's no question. Should we expect anything more than Flacco in this game? I don't think DTR will be starting at all. I would be very surprised if we saw anything from DTR, to be honest with you. Expectations any different from you, Tony? I'm expecting Flacco today.
Yeah, so probably the same thing. Maybe a couple plays DTR here or there, nothing too crazy. Mainly just a little bit lesser version of last week. I think that's kind of going to be the performance we can expect from Flacco. Is basically what you got with the Rams, which is a good game. He's probably going to make a couple poor decisions, but he's going to be accurate for the most part and make some big plays. And if we can get that, that's more than enough to win.
I also expect Lawrence to play today. I'd be surprised if he bounces back quickly from injuries in his whole college and pro career. Guy is very tough. So I definitely see him playing today, Tony. I think the other key that someone mentioned there is obviously defensive rebounding, of course. They've got to put some pressure on Jacksonville. Jacksonville is average in every stat. They're not great, they're not bad, but they're not as high end as the Rams. So this is a team you can run on. It's a team you can certainly pass on. Tony, in a weather day like this, what would you like to see from the Browns offense? It's going to be windy and wet. What would you do if you're the Browns?
Well, hopefully for the rest of the year, they can figure out a way to get a more consistent run game going.
Yeah.
Ideally, under Stefanski throughout this whole time with Nick Chubb for the last 4 years, we're a team that wants to run the ball to seal these games out, and just that's who we are. That's our identity. This year, they haven't been able to as much because they haven't been able to run it as well. So hopefully we can run the ball with a little more success today, and then we can get back to being that ground and pound team that we want to be under Stefanski.
Need to be able to run the ball well today is key. When the Browns run, and they're more than that, 60, the 55, 45, passing just a little bit more, they usually are very successful. When it's tilted one way, the Browns usually don't do well at all with the pass. So hopefully they get it back to 50-50. The other big thing, again, I can see in this team, let's see the special teams. We have been so happy with Hopkins. Hopefully that was just a one-time thing where he misses a big extra point. He's done it twice now. Hopefully he's gotten over that little hiccup. And the other thing I can say about this game is this is a home team. The Browns play much better at home. So I'm expecting a little bit of a bounce back.
Yeah, me too. They've been a team that's really fed off of playing at home. That one loss with DTR making his debut hardly counts. And the other 5 games, I mean, for the most part, they were all noticeable, very easy wins except for the Steelers. So really the defense has always started really strong at home. Hopefully they can continue that because they're going to need to be disruptive today.
Adam, I agree with you. It needs to be closer to 50-50 run to pass. I agree with you. The last 2 weeks have been double pass compared to run. Again, history of the Browns since they've been back. When they do that, they always lose. Browns will be solid today. Oh, boy, Jay Dizzle, thank you. He's a Bengals fan. We need it today. I had a much different feeling today than I did yesterday. Again, Cooper being back is huge for this team. He just brings a different – now you have Elijah Moore, who is playing better with Flacco and Cooper. You can see how the passing game can have some vibe today, Tony. It just makes a huge difference when he's playing. Huge.
Yeah, just his presence. I mean, the defense has to respect him. They're going to pay a lot more attention to him. And with all their defensive backs down, they're going to still have to throw their best at Amari Cooper, which even if he doesn't have that ultra-productive day that we're used to seeing out of him, it'll open up more opportunities for Njoku and Elijah Moore, Marquise Goodwin back, Tillman. They just got to come through and make sure they have good days. No drops. No drops today.
Here we go. Is right, Jimmy. We need this energy, need this vibe. Big game today. Browns win. Browns are going to playoffs. Browns are going to a playoffs. PK Rod, I agree with you. Got to. This might be a preview. You're right. Might be going back to the Gator Bowl after this. Pains me. Jay Dizzle, how can it pain you the Browns are locking today? 2 things real quickly for Tony. Were you surprised at all about the Heisman Trophy going to the gentleman from LSU, Daniels?
No, he had a really good season statistically, and when you just watched him play, he seemed like the clear choice this year. I know a lot of times you want to give it to somebody who was winning and contributing to the college football playoff effort, but he had such a good year. I mean, the numbers were even up there with Burrow's season where it was really the right choice.
Daniels was I think you're right. I still would have given it to Harrison Jr. I think Harrison Jr. is the best player in the country.
Yeah.
But Harrison Jr. did not have the Heisman-type wide receiver numbers you need to get to win the Heisman. I really. Finally, Cavs have played much better lately. They've won 5 out of 6. Yeah. I think they might have found something here, Tony. Do you feel that way? I thought that was I've said this a couple times this year, but I'll say it there. I thought the Miami one was the best one of the year. Great win. Dead. In that game.
Yeah, that was a really a reminiscent of the last couple of years, that true junkyard dog effort, because it was not going well. But yeah, I think that they've been just doing what they've been doing all year, but shots are starting to fall a little more consistently. Guys are starting to settle into their roles a little more clearly. And Strus and Niang have really been playing well. I've loved what they've brought. And the backup big minutes from Tristan Thompson continue to impress.
It does. Tristan brings a lot of energy, and I'm not surprised. Moves like that in the NBA usually work well for teams. When veterans come over and they're only asked to do certain things on certain nights, you usually get a big boost. It doesn't work that way in baseball and football to me. It does in basketball. When you have a guy who's there, he just brings energy. He is a leader. I will say this. I see Tristan Thompson leading. I've also seen a huge bounce back from George Niang.
Yep.
He's made an impact these last few games. Really, you can feel his impact finally. And boy, that guy's tough. He has no problem getting in the face of his opponent, which I like to see. Okay. I at one point was really thinking, and I was like, gosh, I don't like this game. I hate this team. They always give the Browns trouble. I've actually come around. I actually think the Browns are going to win today. I did not feel that way yesterday. But I liked all this momentum in the last 24 hours, so I will give it to the Browns 2017. I do think it's key that they run the ball today. I'll leave it there. In a wet weather game like this, and from what I can tell, I think it would be a good thing for the Browns today to run the ball. And obviously have Cooper back pass when they can.
Yeah, I'm thinking right around the same thing, 23-17. Defense has to dominate, starts with the defensive line. They have to be disruptive, and yeah, hopefully the run game can get going because we'd all love to see them be able to just lean on it. They got to be able to get some yards off it.
BelieveInTheLand.com for your keys to the game. BelieveInTheLand.com for your preview. BelieveInTheLand.com for all sorts of film review. BelieveInTheLand.com, period. You should be on there now. See you at halftime. See you after the game. Go Browns!
Go Browns.